Today we're going to look at immigration in the 1800s. Before 1890, most immigrants came from Northern and Western Europe. After 1890, Southern and Eastern European and Asian immigrants came to the United States. They were called the New Immigrants. European immigrants landed at Ellis Island in New York, and Asian immigrants landed at Angel Island in San Francisco. So European immigrants came to Ellis Island, and Asian immigrants came to Angel Island.
So to give an example of what this did to America is you can see here you've got farmers in the South and in the West, and you've got Europeans over here in the ships all waiting to come to America, because in the cities, as represented here, you had factories, there were jobs, so many people wanted to go to the cities to find work. So they would go, Europeans from, the immigrants from Europe coming to the cities. Also, as more and more tools, mechanical tools became available, there's less need for a lot of farmers, so they would leave the farms and go also to the cities, find work in the cities. And what happened to the cities as a result of this? Well, they got bigger.
So, some push factors on reasons why immigrants came to America. Many of them want to escape oppressive governments. Oppressive is another way of saying bad or cruel governments. There was no work available in their countries, or famines occurred. When a famine occurs, that means there's no food available.
So here's a photograph from a family in Ireland. Ireland has one of the examples of famines. There was the Irish, especially the poor in Ireland, relied on the potato for their food. And when there was a potato famine, a disease that was killing all the potatoes, it affected the poor in Ireland. And many were starving as a result. So those that could get out did and moved to America. Here is a political cartoon at the time showing how oppressive governments made people to leave. In this case, this cartoon is talking about the oppression of the Jews in Russia. So our person here to the left is the Tsar of Russia, a leader or a king of Russia, you could say. Here is Teddy Roosevelt, and he is yelling at the Tsar, saying, "Stop your cruel oppression of the Jews." And you can see here a family leaving with this big bag of oppression on them, saying things like murder, deception. And you can see their burning village in the back. The Russian government at the time, the Tsar, whenever there was a problem in Russia, they would blame the Jews for it. And so it was very hard, life was very hard for the Jews in Russia. And so it was better to go to the United States, where you could practice your own religion and still have opportunity to live and to work.
So, America had many pull factors that made it attractive to immigrants. For instance, religious freedom, adventure, and hope for better opportunity all existed in the United States.
There was a reality to immigration many immigrants didn't understand until they actually went there. There were stories about America told to them from letters from people who had already went, saying, in the cities are paved with gold, or things, all the problems will be solved, there'll be food for you every day. They didn't understand that it was going to take a lot of hard work and some danger, actually, to get to America and actually succeed in America. So the trip itself was long and difficult over the ocean. Often immigrants could not afford nice quarters or nice rooms in a ship, so they had to travel together in the bottom of the boat in a place called steerage. And once they got to the city, they found that city life, especially in the poor areas, is very difficult to live, and often, sometimes, it was dangerous. And immigrants had to work very hard for very little money. So to get started in America proved to be very difficult. There wasn't instant success for most immigrants. So an example of the crowded conditions on a ship on nice days, they would come out, and on most days in the rough waters of the Atlantic, they had to stay under in the bottom of the ship, so it could be very crowded, and sickness could spread easily.
Most immigrants could only get the most dangerous jobs that no one else would do. Irish immigrants were discriminated against because they were Catholic. Chinese immigrants were banned for 10 years by the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. Most Asians were not allowed to legally immigrate to America until 1943. So, along with the tough conditions in the cities, many immigrants faced discrimination once they finally arrived in America.